Want to take one last?
One last question.
Yeah.
What is your political position on global warming, and how do you propose to end America's dependence on fossil fuels?
The very, very best way to deal with global warming is in the same way we deal with energy independence. We should try to accomplish both things. So how do you do energy independence? You do energy independence by encouraging ethanol, by doing clean carbon sequestration. We have more coal in the United States than they have oil in Saudi Arabia. We should be relying on that coal. We have to make it clean, because for a lot of reasons, global warming, pollution, other reasons, health reasons. We haven't licensed a nuclear power plant in 30 years. France is 80–85% nuclear. China is doing 40 nuclear power plants in the next decade or so. We're going to have to look at that as a way of expanding. Those are the primary ways in which we do it. We don't give up on solar and wind. The big breakthrough there has to be developing a battery that will retain the power so that solar power and wind power are delivered consistently, rather than when the wind blows, you get a lot of power. When the wind doesn't blow, the lights go out. So you've got to have a battery that holds that charge. Not there yet, but not inconceivable. Probably must out a couple of other technologies. But basically, the United States has to approach energy independence the way we approach putting a man on the moon. It has to be a major focus of the federal government to push that and make sure these industries are moving forward, have the right support, moving forward, have the right market incentives. And we've got to get there in 10 years, 15 years, rather than kind of the unforeseeable future. Because if we leave it the unforeseeable future, then special interests that are opposed to every one of the things I mentioned will find reasons to stop them. And the special interests will win out over the general interest. We also have to do another thing. Those things that I mentioned are consistent with energy independence and ultimately reducing our impact on global warming. There is one that would be not totally consistent, and we just focus on energy independence. But I think in the short term, we've got to do it. We need more refineries. And we need to take advantage of oil deposits in the United States, in Canada, Mexico, and on the shelf. We've got to do it carefully. We've got to do it in a way that we don't do significant damage to our environment. But we need a little bit more of that flexibility, at least while we're going through this Islamic terrorist war against us, so that we can more quickly not just reduce our reliance on the Middle East. We get more of our oil from non-Middle Eastern sources. But that doesn't matter that much, as we can see in trying to put pressure on Iran through sanctions. If the rest of the world has to depend on the Middle East, it doesn't matter whether we're getting oil from the Middle East or they are. A lot of money is pumping into those societies, and we have no way of cutting it off. So if we could develop energy independence, we would have a way of having leverage over that. And one final thought about energy independence, but we'll talk about this later in the week. It's a great way to think about how we should position ourselves in a global economy. There are a lot of Americans that are afraid of globalization. What do you think about when I say the following? 20 or 30,000 people coming out of poverty every year in China and India. Anywhere from 40 to 60 million people a year coming out of poverty in those two parts of the world. Does that give you some fear that they're going to take our jobs away, that they're going to take our power away, they're going to take our position away? Or does it say to you, that's great, that's wonderful. I haven't heard any news as good as that in a long time. When I hear 20 or 30 million people in each country coming out of poverty each year with a little bit of money in their pocket and the ability to buy things, here's the way I think, and here's the way I think Americans should think. Look at all those new customers. Look at all those people we can sell things to. Look at all those people now with some money that we can sell things to. They have figured out what to sell to us. Yesterday, I signed a lot of baseballs for charity. And the thing that, I must have signed 100 of them. And the thing that I noticed about it is, it said, China. Baseballs were made in China.
Yeah.
I did not think of China as a big baseball country, but they're making baseballs. Okay. Well, they probably make the baseballs cheaper, right? And you use a lot of baseballs. So it isn't our job to worry about that. It's our job to think, well, if they sell us baseballs, what can we sell them? And there's a lot that we can sell them. They're at a certain position in development. They're here and we're here. What they really want to do is to come where we are. To come where we are, they're going to have to use and buy a lot of the things that we have. And we should be selling it to them. We should be selling them energy independence. If we were doing what Brazil was doing with ethanol, if we were doing what France was doing with nuclear power, if we had gotten on top of carbon sequestration the way we should, every single one of those things is great industry for America. It's even a better, they need it more than we do. They need energy independence. China and India need it more than America does. Their contribution to global warming, if we don't do something about it, will make whatever we do insignificant. We could come up with the Al Gore perfect, whatever that is, answer to global warming tomorrow. And if India and China don't do anything dramatic and significant over the next 10 to 15 to 20 years, our sacrifice will mean nothing. The earth will get as warm as it can get, or warmer. So this is a more intricate problem, and sometimes, the people who end up on the excessive left or right, I'll tell you about it. The best answer to it is energy independence. Get on top of it as an industry, and then let's sell that industry to the world. We'll be doing something. The best thing you can ever do is do something good and make money at it.